Welcome to the Social Media Strategy. Oh, happy September. And I will tell you that aside from January being a nice new year refresh, I've always considered September more of a new year refresh. And I think it's because when my kids would go back to school, it was a fresh start. And I always have that in my mind, in the back of my mind. September is like a mini new year and we're off to a new start on a new school year. So come and learn with me. Now that I'm a teacher, I'm really going to consider it like back to school. But while I'm talking about back to school, I'm going to just jump right into what we're doing in the studio this month. And then I'm going to go to my unsponsored by segment. All right. So in the studio, we are focusing on how to build community. So every lesson and every meeting is going to be catered around how you can build and foster community and loyalty in your followers and in your audience. It's so important because what's happening with TikTok, and we know something's changing. We're not completely sure. There's a lot of speculation out there, but it's better to be proactive. And that is me trying to change my normal way of existence, which is always, well, we'll worry about it when it happens. I'm trying to change that mindset when it comes to this and be more prepared for when it happens. So I'm taking you along for the ride. Okay, before we get into the details about that, today's unsponsored by, we're going to focus on food, 2 food items, and one of them is the food itself, and that is my Justin's Almond Butter. I am a fan. I love this brand, especially because of the flavors. I like, and I know it's somewhat healthy. Now, I think my son would say, well, it's not really 100% healthy because Tommy's very, very particular, but it does have sugar added. Organic powdered sugar, organic cane sugar, tapioca starch, palm oil, organic cinnamon, and sea salt. But overall, it's more healthy than most. Like it's better than Skippy and those kinds of brands. I love it because cinnamon flavored anything has got my vote. They have maple flavor. They have vanilla flavor. And for some reason, that appeals to me. I like it. I like when I slice up an apple and I put a little bit of almond butter on it and it's got a little kick of something. When I don't have these in the house, I will, or if they only have the plain sometimes available on the shelf, I will sprinkle cinnamon on top of mine, cinnamon sugar sometimes. I'll sprinkle some spices on there to give it a kick, like even a pumpkin spice, one of the pumpkin pie spice, sometimes I'll sprinkle that on because I like how that adds to the flavor of the almond butter. So I like Justin's. So if you like it, let me know. And I use this often. I try not to eat a lot of almond butter because I know that in general, the nut butters are high in calorie. But, if you eat it in moderation, everything is okay, in my opinion. If you're not overdoing anything, like if I'm not eating this out of the jar, like my son Tommy, who literally, he puts it on peanut butter, bananas. He puts it on everything. We go through solidly 2 jars of peanut butter, 2 jars of almond butter in a week when he's with us, and it's all him. So God bless the young metabolism that he can actually eat 2 jars of almond butter and not feel the effects in the scale. Anyway, that's that for that. But here's the other thing that my son Tommy, he's getting a lot of airtime today. He has turned me on to something that I cannot talk about enough. So buckle up. Are you ready? It's the Ninja Creamy. What is that, you ask? Because there's the Ninja Blender. This is the Ninja Creamy. And if you know, you know. You can make ice cream out of the most healthy ingredients, and it tastes phenomenal. I'm not kidding. This is not a lie. And let me tell you a little more about it. Because when I sometimes would, in the summer especially, where everybody wants to go for ice cream, we're going to get ice cream. And ice cream at night just doesn't sit well with me. And I don't have an aversion to dairy because I can drink milk in my tea and whatnot. So I'm not anti-dairy. I can have cereal and milk. But for some reason, when I eat ice cream, I don't know if it's the heavy cream factor or whatever. If I eat it in the evening, I'm done for. I feel horrible. I don't like the feeling. It almost hurts me to sleep. My stomach hurts. It's just not good. And this Ninja Creamy has solved my problems. Woo! We're doing a little happy dance. You know what? In the newsletter, you see the guys from the office doing this in the newsletter today, and I'm looking at it on my screen, and that's how I'm feeling about the Ninja Creamy. You can make ice cream out of simple ingredients. It's the way the technology works. Oat milk. You can put oat milk. You can put a little bit of almond butter. You can throw a banana in there. And what you have to do before you put it into the Ninja Creamy is you put it in the blender first. So you blend the ingredients. And what I have done is To avoid dairy even, I do oat milk or almond milk. I'll do some oatmeal. So I use gluten-free, purely Elizabeth oatmeal that I talked about, I think last week. I use a little bit of that oatmeal. I cook it up first and put like a half a cup of oatmeal in there to give it a little thickness and a little texture. Maybe a hit of almond butter, maybe not. A banana, I think I said banana already. You can put maybe a couple strawberries in there. All healthy ingredients. That's it. You don't have to put any sugar at all, honestly. My son will do a couple of drops of maple syrup to give it a little sweetness. So you can use organic, whatever, the bare raw maple syrup, whatever you want to put in there to give it a little maybe sweetness. You put this in the freezer after you do the blender. Put it in the freezer in the little container. You got to freeze it, they say, for 24 hours, but I've done it where I froze it only for 12 hours. Put that in the Ninja Creamy. When I tell you the ice cream you're going to get, it's bizarre how it tastes. It's the texture of ice cream without the pain. It's the taste of ice cream without the calories. You can then put some toppings on it, and it's like guilt-free toppings, because when you put toppings on regular ice cream, it's like adding insult to injury. You could put some crumbled little cookie. Well, sometimes I'll get the chocolate graham crackers, and crumble them on there because it gives it a little crunch, like a little toppings. Crazy. I can't talk about it enough. I'm losing it over my Ninja Creamy. So if you don't know, you might want one. I wish I had affiliate links. I don't know. I really say that every week, but I'm not going to go there. I'm telling you the things I love just purely because they are the things I love. And this one is in the summer. We use this every single night. I don't even know, probably going into the winter. I only got it in the spring, so I'm sure going into the winter, I'm going to be using it all the time. It's just a really great answer to a healthy option for dessert where it feels like you actually ate dessert. This is not like put a banana and make a little thing with a banana. No, this is ice cream. It's really dessert. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to zip it. Let's carry on. How can you build community? By sharing the things you love with your friends. That's my first thing. But I like to talk about this unsponsored by, because it makes me feel like I'm sharing my things with you without any pressure to buy them. It's just like, this is really what I love. And, maybe you'll just want to hear about it, and maybe you're not even interested in getting one. That's fine. But it's like just being aware of the things that are out there that might change up how you view things, so that you think, oh, all ice cream is created equal. No, it's not. And also, I have had an ice cream maker before, the other kind, the Cuisinart one, where it's like a frozen block that you have to put in the freezer, and then you take it out. And the only way to make ice cream with that thing is with heavy cream. There's not really a lot of recipes that are going to make ice cream in that type of ice cream maker, but that creamy is going to make ice cream out of literally healthy ingredients. It will make sorbets, it will make shakes, it does all the things. We did a strawberry pineapple sorbet on one of them. It also, depending on how much, depending on the ratio of things you put in there, you can have almost like a cream ice. You know what that is? That's like the Rita's thing, where it's like a bit of creamy combined with ice, and it has that texture. Love it. There's also a place around here in the city called Ralph's, which makes a cream ice. And I love that because it's a little bit of ice, Italian ice feeling with a little bit of creamy texture. I'm all about it. All right, so back to it. I keep getting sidetracked. How can I build community online? So I said this in today's meeting. We had our first monthly meeting about community building in the studio today. And one of the things that I said was the most successful creators have created a sense of community in a bunch of their videos. So I'm just going to talk about what that is. If you want to participate in the learning for how to make your content more aligned, you can join us there. Every meeting we're talking strategy. We're also putting, everyone's sharing their videos in the comments so that we can all see each other's videos and say, how this could be better, how this could be more community focused, how you could get your people to hit the follow button. So we're working on all of that in the studio. I'm going to give you now the broad strokes of what we're talking about. And if you're interested, you can join us. But these are things to think about, whether you are in the studio or not. What are some of the things that you can do to build community? In an overall sense, you have to think about what gets your audience connected to each other. And it's not just connected to you. It's what the most successful videos that happen, the most viral, are when people are chatting together in the comments, when people are either helping each other in the comments, disagreeing with each other in the comments, having interactions in the comments, those usually really do help your engagement. And what it does, it makes people feel like they belong to something. And I used an example in the studio about a woman who was talking about a garbage disposal and how everybody in the comments was her perspective of how a garbage disposal was used was just for if things happen to fall down the sink, versus other people who use a garbage disposal and they purposely put all the food down the sink into the garbage disposal, and which camp you're in. And there was a huge discussion in the comments. So that's the type of thing where you want to create foster some type of conversation in your comments to create a sense of community. And the next way to do it is going live. So when you are going live and you are creating that connection and you are guiding, you're almost like leading your audience in a discussion. And that's what it's like. It's like you're a moderator for a community when you go live. I love it. It's kind of one of my favorite things when I'm ready to wrap up my day. I'm like, let me go live, because I really get charged from it. I feel that I'm leading a discussion. And I think that's part of what creates that vibe of people coming together. Listen, I always talk about this. Back when I lived in the burbs, in the suburbs, I feel like it was like a million years ago, but it's about 10 years now, a little over 10 years. I used to have these dance parties where women would come and hang out, the music would be blasting, and then we'd have a dancing night with no judgment. It was actually no husbands included, so the wives could just come. It was mostly couples out there in the burbs. The wives would just come without any significant others and just dance the night away. And what I learned at those parties is that I didn't even necessarily know everyone or get a chance to talk to everyone that came. But I created a safe space for them to come together and have connections with each other. And the common thread was they all somehow knew me, and that's how they got invited to this party. It was through whoever. But the connections that were made and the vibes that happened at the party didn't depend on me. Okay? And I think that's the part that we all don't realize, that we as creators and sometimes as leaders, as moderators, we can create that among people and have them, benefit from knowing each other. And that's the whole idea of creating community. It's not just for you to give them information and back and forth, the end. It's for you to give information, you to inspire, entertain, whatever it is that you're doing on your content, and then creating a family inside that appreciates it. And so they enjoy you, but they also enjoying you with each other. So it's definitely a triangle. It's not just a two-way street. And going live is really, really helpful. And the last thing that we're going to be covering, so that's where we're going to cover the second week because we do in the studio a 3-week rotation. So the first week, it usually covers the topic, how to create your content. Our topic is how to create content that fosters community. The second week, we're going to focus on live and live strategies and how you can foster community in your lives. And then the third is going to be how to foster and build a community offline, elsewhere, how to move a community, how to shift them somewhere else in case this platform ends up going away, this platform called TikTok. Okay, so we're going to be focused on that. And I think I've always been the person that just waits for something to happen and then reacts. I have learned that, 4 years ago when I started a newsletter, I didn't start a newsletter thinking, oh, well, at least I'll have emails if TikTok goes away. That never even came into my mind. But because I did it, I actually do have that as a backup plan. Like if TikTok goes away, I still have a newsletter community that is engaged and reading my newsletters every week and enjoying my podcasts and my content and my vibes in general. And I'm so, so grateful and appreciative. And I also want to give that value back. So I have also been, and I've talked about this a little because we have a new feature on TikTok with DMs, how I'm using that to foster community on my own page, in my own account. And those are the types of things when we're in these meetings, we're brainstorming together. So if you do have any interest and you want to join us, this is the month for community. Join now and get in on it. But if you are not into jumping into a studio situation, this is encouragement for you to start assessing your own content. It's always helpful to assess your own content when you hear other people talking, though, because you go, oh, that applies to me. Oh, yeah, I did that once. Or, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I can try it on this. One of our studio members, hi, Betsy, she posted a video while we were in the meeting talking about it. She pulled a video that she thought that did pretty well, I think, on YouTube. And she said, I'm going to put it over on TikTok, and was getting inquiries to work with her while we were in the meeting. Hello. So it works. And I love it. It was kind of a really good win. I also had one of our studio members, Linda. Hi, Linda, if you're listening. She had a major, major viral video hit on Instagram where she had a whole conversation happening in the comments about her because she played two characters, and people thought that it was her sister or her twin or something. And they really didn't think it was her. And she had 2 million views and went from 700 to something like 16,000 followers practically overnight. So the successes are real. We are all applauding each other. It was so much fun for her to share that news in the meeting. I hadn't even known. I had seen her video. I talked about it in the meeting. I was like, you had a video recently, and I think it was doing pretty well when I saw it. How is that going? And when she told us, it was like, poof, amazing. So like I always say, what drives me and what makes me feel great about what I'm doing is when I see the successes coming from the suggestions, coming from the learning, and the inspiration that I'm helping people find in themselves. And that just makes me feel really happy, and it drives me to keep going, and it makes me want to continue to build my own community. All right, so if you're on for the ride, join us. If not, I'll see you next week as always with a smile and a product. Here's to Justin's and my Ninja Creamy. See you next week.